You are now listening to Nerd Rage Radio with Bobby Skullface and Adam Russman. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and may not fit with your sensitive sensibilities. You may be a victim of meaningless outrage, or you may, in fact, be a big ninny pants. If this is the case, please feel free to turn it off now. This is no country for ninny McNinny pants. So crack open the Mountain Dew. Make sure the cheese doodles are super fresh. We're in your mother's basement. It's Nerd Rage Radio.
What's up, everybody? Why is that so loud? Oh, I guess it's not that bad. I just feel like the mic is... Oh, because I'm on 2. That's why it's so loud. Laura's on 1, so let's get her turned up. All right, that should be much better. Yeah. Okay, let me adjust my headphones now. I should have sorted this out before I started. But we're all here together now, so we're just going to deal with it. We're down 2 members of the regular Nerd Rage crew. So Joe is working every day until Armageddon, and Adam is at Williamsburg.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Walking in a winter wonderland. So joining me today, I have Chris Pinkerton, if you're nasty.
What's up, party people?
And I have my wife, Mrs. Skullface.
Hello.
So it's going to be a different type of show, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. So let's start with Nerd Weeks. Chris, how was yours?
Oh, let's see here. I had a pretty decent nerd week. Trying to remember exactly what all. Had a social event together. That was fun. It was very nerdy.
It was.
It was a very nerdy gift exchange. Almost everybody that was there had a nerdy gift to give.
The jams and jellies was the funniest.
That was.
Yeah. Imagine why.
That was good. I liked it.
And Dante won it, which was, I mean.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Clark.
All year round.
Been just grinding my tail off on the diorama stuff.
What have you been working on?
It's 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. A very technical space hallway and a lot of organic stuff, which has become popular. So like the one I'm finishing
like
is
Mythic Legions.
Oh yeah, it's very mythic.
Yes,
very mythic.
Very Mythic Legions of you.
Very mythic. I finished reading the War of Jokes and Riddles that you lent me. It was very good.
Yeah.
Picked up some other trades from Raul. Shout out to Raul.
Yeah, he sent me some too. He doesn't have to do that. I've reached out to him to say thank you, but it's appreciated but unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely. He gave me a Punisher trade or an omnibus really, and the Tim Sale Batman run. I've actually started reading that a little bit.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, still reading on the Hellboy stuff too.
How is that? How are you liking it?
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I am.
Still up to snuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Apparently
that's one of those books I would get scared where I'd be like, at a certain point, I'd be like, this is just trash. I should have never started this dumb shit. Like, you know.
Well, I think I'm in the 3rd book. I did take a break from reading it just because I had so much other stuff going on. And somebody gave me a DC book, so I figured I should make it a priority.
You should. You really
knock
should.
It out, so. You
really should. Substance over style.
That is true. I finished a show called Ozark that's on Netflix.
We watched what?
5 episodes or so.
Something like that.
It wasn't bad.
I liked it, but he didn't like it.
No,
so
that's not true.
Okay, well, it wasn't important enough or interesting enough to him to continue.
Correct.
I really don't watch TV without him, so I didn't. But I actually was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then we've started a couple other series that we just have been literally.
I've seen the first half of every episode of Making a Murderer. Do you need to say that? And
I thought I had it on silent. That's my fault.
No. I was just kidding. The show's worth interrupting for business.
My wife and I, at one point in time, had made that pact. The Netflix.
No Netflix cheating.
And it got to a point where I wanted to watch different stuff than she did, and a lot of the time when I'm on the road, that's how I started watching at Ozarks was basically being in a hotel for a day because of work. So I just watched basically all the first season, and then I finished the second season on an airplane. So
the what was I watching on there? The Daredevil. Like I'm one episode in.
Really?
Daredevil's
Yeah.
been rough.
Dude,
No, we're more than one episode in, aren't we?
No.
We just keep
We
watching the
watched
same
one episode twice.
over again.
Yeah, because we fell asleep the first time and then watched it again from the beginning. And
Yeah, it's not grabbing us.
I don't know. I thought it was fantastic.
well, I heard that it gets good, but I've also heard that it's a slow start, which would justify both of us.
I don't remember. I don't even remember it having a slow start. I don't know.
I don't even remember how it started.
Well, I guess the Kingpin stuff's already started.
It starts with him in like recovering.
Oh, with the nun.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his special powers anymore,
Okay,
and
I remember.
it's just like, dude, like.
I think, in all fairness, though, by the time we sit down to watch TV one night a week when we have an opportunity,
Yeah, we're
so tired that it's.
But there's so much of it that's like, it's just so fucking average. Like, all that Netflix shit is just so bloody average, with the exception of Punisher. Like, it's...
Now, you mean the Marvel Netflix stuff or just Netflix in general?
Marvel Netflix. Like when they're like, oh, we're canceling Luke Cage, we're canceling Iron Fist, we're not doing Defenders anymore, we're canceling Punisher, and then we're going to release these 2 seasons and go from there. I'm like...
It's time?
No wonder.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed Daredevil.
Has
there been 2 seasons?
This is the third that you guys can't watch.
I've enjoyed average hand jobs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
not everything is great.
Pizza's pizza,
and you can still I've enjoyed average pizza, you know. But
but he doesn't agree that pizza's pizza. So
no. But I also say that pizza can only taste so bad. With one exception.
He's got Litos.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand Litos.
Based on your opinion, I've yet to eat that.
That's just Taliban pizza.
So you love it.
Love Litos.
Taliban pizza. And I think they might even deliver to me.
That pizza tastes like 9/11.
It's a sweet stop. It's a sweeter. It's like a sweeter sauce.
That was awful.
Yeah, it's a sweeter sauce.
The cheese is really good. It's really good. If you guys haven't had Litos pizza, and it's right next to your house, you have to have it.
So a new pizza place opened there by Weiss, by the Toy Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
It's called. It starts with a V. It's an Italian word. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but they deliver it. It's fine.
It's fine.
But they have sandwiches and other stuff too, which is cool.
I was actually thinking today if there's any possibility of getting my pizza spot on my birthday. I'm not sure that's going to be swingable.
Why?
Because it's so far away. The Columbia spot. The King's Contriving spot.
Oh, that would be good, though.
Yeah.
Is that really that far away, though? Globally speaking?
Well,
I guess if I go pick it up and bring it back, it's going to be cold.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know, man. That Netflix shit, like, there's just... the only one that would have, shocked me is if they canceled Punisher after season 1.
Really?
That would have shocked me because I was like, this is quality material. But if they would have canceled Daredevil after season 1, I'd have been like, I get it. I'm happy with it, but I get it. You know? I just don't think it's anything like... I haven't found...
He's also not a show person.
That's true. But every now... I think... So, that's fair. I think that a show has to be exceptional for me to really be on board. Like, I was on board with Oz. I was on board with Sopranos. I was on board with Breaking Bad. I was on board... Like, there's a few others. But, like, Sex and the City. It has to be exceptional. I'm on board with Game of Thrones. You know, like, it has to be a cut above. Like, it has to be, like, almost every show that I get into is a show that people look back on and say how great that show was. You know, like The Wire, it's like the go-to for everybody. Like I watch edgy TV. Have you heard of The Wire?
Right.
I believe it's actually pronounced The Wire.
The Wire. I don't think that's how they say it in Baltimore.
No. I'm sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. I watched, you guys have, and it may just be me, when I'm scrolling through to watch something, I'm a lot of the time more apt to watch something I've seen before than I am to watch something new. If it's not in the pocket of what I want to watch.
He watches new things all the time.
Yeah, but I
but not
swear
a show.
to God, usually documentary.
Okay,
but I swear I usually spend the majority of my. I'm exhausted by the time I find something to watch.
Exactly, and that's
like I'm tuckered out. Like I'm ready to go to bed. because I just spent 20 minutes scrolling through a screen.
One of the podcasts I listen to, the guys were saying they do this thing once a week. They order pizza, they sit down, and whatever starts playing on Netflix, they watch it.
Oh yeah, they said we kind of did that last night. We watched that.
Yeah, we watched that
meme thing.
That meme, American meme. It's supposed to be able to play on American Me.
Okay,
it's American Meme, and it's like it documents these influencers. And
is that the one that's got is Paris Hilton in that?
She is.
So she was on some daytime talk show when I was at the house the other day. Kelly was watching and talking about that. I guess she was out promoting that show.
Yeah, she's the one person on there that I did not have any sympathy for whatsoever. Really, like maybe the slightest bit when she was talking about like when the porn stuff got out.
Yeah,
how like she couldn't go anywhere because she became like the world's joke.
Yeah, but you felt guilty for her until she said it. She felt like she had been raped.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's like you weren't raped, and I've seen the video. You were up for it.
She was fine. It's fine.
And then what else did she say that turned me off? Oh, like just like just how rough her life is and shit.
I was gonna say they really want you.
And I'm sure it comes with its own challenges of being that wealthy and recognizable and blah 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 blah. But like, it's very challenging to feel sorry for someone in that predicament that seems to have that amount of callousness towards the rest of the world.
Yeah,
so.
Not to defend Paris Hilton by any means, but the thing, whatever. I think it was The Talk. I don't know. There's so many of these shows that are on TV where it's this group of women talking, and I don't even know. There's like 4 different ones. Mm-hmm. It was one of those, and she was saying basically that her being a dummy is an act. That's that whole. What was that show? Her and Nicole Richie were
right.
The Simple Life.
Yeah, that was an act. She said it's all an act.
So I saw a bit of that in that movie where I was like, okay, she's sharper than she seems. But in the same breath, she'll say some really stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like saying a porn tape got out. It was like I was raped. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It was like you let this guy film you, and then he sold it.
That's not what that was at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
I did see today, speaking of paparazzi starlets, that apparently Taylor Swift travels by suitcase from her vehicle to her car or wherever she's going.
What?
They put her in like this was like a trunk suitcase, and her bodyguards carry her back and forth. It was apparently some rumor a while back, but then some other singer mentioned it in an interview casually. That's the link she goes to avoid paparazzi.
Crazy.
She put herself in the trunk.
Well, Paris had a wall poster of paparazzi that lit up
and had audio
and had audio sounds of cameras flashing. Like it's a poster of paparazzi, like with their cameras out.
Really?
And there's wired lights in it so that the flashes actually flash, and there's a sound.
But what's the point of that exactly?
It was just a huge in her house. Like,
I don't know other than decorative.
Wow.
But she said, she was like, sometimes I come down and practice posing in front of it. No, I don't do that. In my head, I was like, you've definitely done that.
Well, yeah, of course.
You've definitely done that.
So the reason I ask about watching is I ended up watching a couple movies this week that I've seen many, many times. I watched The Dark Knight Rises again.
So good.
Such a good movie. Makes me want to spend some money, but maybe I shouldn't watch it. And
people hate that movie, man.
No,
they don't hate it. They treat it like it's not as good as it is, in my opinion.
Well, you're chasing a dragon there after The Dark Knight.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know that anything could have been that good.
I agree.
It really makes you wonder if he hadn't Heath Ledger hadn't died, what that would have looked like going forward.
There was this like rumor that circulated for the longest time that the Batman and Joker were supposed to have like a Hannibal Lecter moment, like behind glass. Like, I would have killed for that.
Yeah,
like to learn how to beat Bane or whoever he was going to go up against.
Yeah, yeah.
To what could have been.
Right. And I watched Infinity War again. It's a quality piece of entertainment right there. Mm-hmm. There's some serious holes in it, but
what
off panel.
I think that Yeah, like, yeah. But I think they're explainable.
Oh, most of it is.
Yeah.
It is.
My only issue with multiple watchings of Infinity War, which I like a lot, it's probably my favorite Marvel movie, even though I don't think it's the best Marvel movie, is that Thor getting the Stormbreaker drags to me. Like, literally getting it.
The building
like
of
going,
it,
yes,
holding
going
the
to the
that.
place, all that shit with the guy from Game of Thrones and all that. Like, it just seems like a 10-minute sequence that should take 3, or a 20-minute sequence that should take 10, or whatever the fuck it is. It just seems like
Montage.
it's the only part that drags to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because that information that you gain from that does nothing to forward the story.
Yeah,
It's that this is just where they build the mega weapons for the gods, and that's all you really needed to know.
And you got that Thor, didn't you?
He'll be here hopefully tomorrow, Thursday, worst case.
I bought the Hot Toys Prime today.
Really?
Couldn't let it go. Pretty tremendous deal on it right now.
I don't know, man. I had a chance to buy that. This was way before I was in the 6 scale. A comic shop back home was closing, and they had, I think it was 70% off everything, and that was, it was 70% off, and I was like, I don't like it, and I don't know anybody that's ever really talked about wanting
Oh, I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I love how beefy it is.
I don't know.
See,
is this one with the Starscream wings?
Yeah, so you can take it off.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to display it with Starscream wings, obviously, but to me, it's
Can I have the Starscream wings for a custom?
no. But if I see when I see this MP44, MP44 played a big part in my purchasing of this.
Really?
Because so MP44 is $450 American retail. If you go through Amazon Japan, you can get it for $318, right?
I have one on order.
Oh, do you? Okay.
From Japan?
Oh yeah.
So I was looking at that, and I was like, man, it does look like the cartoon, and like, man, he's a lot more slender in the cartoon than I envision him. And then I came across that Hot Toys when I was making a video talking about what else you could buy. And I was like, see, that's how I see him, because it's a 5-year-old looking at that, not a 38-year-old looking at that. And that's how I envision him. And I was like, man, you can get this for under the price of the MP44.
That's true.
And then I was thinking to myself, if I get that MP44, and look, if somebody got it for me for a Christmas gift, like if Laura got me an MP44 for a Christmas gift, I would gladly accept. I think it's the superior Prime, hands down. But if I get that MP44, I think the majority of what it fixes are issues with the legs. Like, the MP10, the calves are too short and the thighs are too long, and his arms are disproportionate to his legs in that they're too long. But all things that relate pretty much directly to the legs. And what I'm going to do with that MP44 is stick him on a shelf behind 30 other robots where you're not going to see the legs anyway. So
this is true.
So I'd be spending $450 or $318 just to get the upper body in the back of a shelf with 100 robots in front of it. And Laura and I were talking recently about switching up, some of the stuff with detolfs in the house, and I was like, man, like if I had those ones upstairs or whatever, I could display like signature pieces
right.
of, and I was like, if I spend $40 on this Hot Toys Prime that comes with $225 gift certificate to Big Bad Toy Store.
That's another Hot Toys figure.
Correct. If I get this Prime and stick him in a detolf up there, I'm going to enjoy that 1,000 times more than I in this MP44. So,
it makes perfect sense.
Right.
It really does.
So I just with that, if it was I'll tell you, if it was $350 and that was it, $350 bought and paid for, I probably wouldn't have done it. But $350 minus the $225 that you can use towards your next everything you have pre-ordered and everything, it's like, well, I'm spending like $100 and whatever the difference is. I don't do numbers, but I'm spending that,
right? And
then I'm just getting in advance on the other shit, So
yeah, I get that. I don't know how we got there, but we were talking about Hot Toys.
And Thor, we got the Thor. You watched Thor. You got the Hot Toys Thor.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see from a Hot Toys standpoint. You know, this next movie that's coming out, I'm sure we'll talk about some today. At the end of that, that's pretty much going to be all the possible costumes you can have for anybody, any of those characters from that universe.
Yeah,
So
because it's probably a wrap for most of them.
right. So now, like, you know, I've already got one cap. I've got another cap pre-ordered. Is this cap that comes from this going to be something I want?
I know. I thought about that too.
So I'm kind of, I don't know. Like, I don't have any of the Guardian stuff yet. And I do want it, but at this point, I'm going to wait and see what comes out for the next movie.
Yeah.
And then I've got a feast of different. I'll have at least 4 different Star-Lords to pick from, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we'll get some of the other stuff
They've
out
done
of
that many Star-Lords?
it. 1, 2,
3.
3. I'm saying, I'm assuming they'll do a
they
fourth
might do a
one.
fourth.
So there's one for
Is
Guardians.
he that popular? Like,
No, I don't really. To be honest with you, the onslaught of Hot Toys figures that we got from Infinity War is surprising to me. Like, they did everything, it seems like.
Yeah.
are any of them like left sitting on the shelves?
You know, I was
A lot of them haven't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
I was looking today. The
Most of them. I think Thor's the first one to come out.
actually
Iron Spider.
no. Oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank. Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow, yeah.
And I was actually looking at that today on eBay, and they're like $200 shipped for it. So they're
Yeah.
not going for a ton of money.
I think that's because it's the least recognizable.
it is and
Black Widow.
and the hair is not great. I mean, it's rooted hair, but it's frizzy. I'm sure somebody could. I'm licking
I've gotten pretty good at
I'm
it.
licking my
Boil it
thumb
up a
and
little bit.
yeah,
I've gotten pretty good at it.
yeah, rubbing it down there. So.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. You know, just grinding away downstairs and sold a bunch of stuff. Sold a couple. I have one Hot Toys DC Hot Toys left.
Which one?
The Asylum Joker.
Oh,
That's the
gotcha.
only one I've got left.
With the original head on it.
Yeah, because I swapped the heads back
Right.
to sell it. So
Yeah, I was talking to the gentleman that bought your, I don't know if he wants his name out there, which is the only reason why I'm not mentioning it, that bought your Joker and Deadshot
yes,
just recently. I was talking to him about some diorama stuff. He did that Hoth diorama. I need to perfect that technique that he used for the snow.
Mhm.
That looked really good.
yeah. I talk to Jason a lot. He doesn't mind his name being out there. We talk.
He seems like a good dude,
Damn
though.
near every day. Yeah. We have a project brewing together currently. So stay tuned for that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What about you, Laura? How was your nerd week? What did you do this week that you'd like to talk about, if anything?
I don't know if I have anything I want to talk about.
I first of all, I'm buying a detol from Joe, which should be the limit of it all, which should be the cap of it all, so to speak.
Where's that going? The office?
Office.
Okay.
And then these two are going to go in the library.
Which two?
These two out there,
Okay.
and then something else will eventually go there. Probably to display the 1/4 stuff. Probably. But so Joe heard me mention I need to get one more DTOF on some show, and he hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, I'll sell you a DTOF if you want one."
Yeah, because he's changing it all up.
Correct.
I'm excited for that.
Me too. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. What do you want for it? And he was like, well, what do you want to pay for it? And I was like, don't do that. Just tell me what the fuck you want. You know what I mean? And he was like, well, what did Adam pay for his?
Oh man.
Speaking of Adam, we went to Rusmus. All three of us went to Rusmus. I had a really good time until I didn't.
I noticed something happened at the end there.
Dude, I am not made for the gift snatching game. Like, whatever minerals that you need to have to be okay with somebody coming up and taking something from you, it's as if God created me on a busy day and left that out.
Fair enough.
I'm not okay with it. Like, don't like in my head, I'm 5 years old again, and you want my lunch money, you know, and like like I go right back. Like it's the same feeling, like that I remember. Like whatever kids saying, give me that hat, give me that, whatever. Like it's the same feeling inside of like, no, like, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I mean, he had a great party. He had, they had tremendous food, and Roy brought those ribs. Those are fantastic.
Everything was great.
So I don't want to make it sound like I ruined the night, because I think I did okay with keeping it. If people knew where my head was, I was a fucking gentleman. But like there came a point where, so like I'm a firm believer in like, your thoughts kind of create your actions, right? So like at first I was angry and irritated, and then eventually my thoughts went to, how do I make this right? And what my mind offered as solutions, I needed to leave.
Fair enough.
And I had to work the next day. Like there was other factors as well, but it's not them, it's me. I'm just.
Well, as long as you know that, then
I just need to I just need to it's just not good for me. Yeah, that's not a good fit. But it was a great time. I laughed a lot, and I had a great time with you up until the moment. And it's just like like if I had like those games, right, where you got to throw a ball. Or you got to throw a ring onto a bottle,
yeah,
right, at the fair. If they were like, look, if you throw the ring and you land it on a bottle, you get any prize you want. If you throw a ring and it misses a bottle and it falls down between them, you get any of these smaller prizes you want. But if you happen to get your ring on this one particular bottle, we castrate you. I would 100% end up with my ring on that bottle. There's no way, if I threw it the opposite direction, it would, a gust of wind, I would be like, you know what, none of these stuffed animals are worth it to me. I'm going to throw it the opposite direction. I didn't know these were the constructs of the game. Had I known this, I wouldn't have played. But since I've already put in my $5 to play, I'm just going to throw the ring in the opposite direction over where people are hitting the frogs onto the lily pads. I'm going to throw my ring over there. And I would throw it over there, somebody would hit the frog, and the frog would hit my ring back over, and it would land on, and I'd be castrated right in front of everybody.
Your mind is a twisted nest of broken spaghetti shreds.
But I don't know. That's how it is.
That's wild as fuck, dude.
That is my luck at things of chance, which is, I think, why I take so much contingency in most of the things that I do, because I'm like, I'm going to end up in this pickle. Like so I have to have the fireproof surge breaker, cut off the breaker to the panel thing laying on the ground to plug everything into, because if I don't, it's not going to light my house on fire. It will make my house explode somehow.
I would probably say that I have, if we're on a spectrum here, you and I are on the opposite poles of that spectrum, because I have the most IDGAF outlook. It drives my wife bananas.
Yeah.
Because my new thing is, if she says something that I guess she thinks I'm going to have some sort of reaction to, I just say Black Panther.
I don't care.
Exactly. Because I don't care. At one point in time, I was, and I'm going to use the word wound tight for what you just described. I don't know if that's a good way
I would
to do
say
it.
That's accurate.
I was wound tight at one point in time in my life, and at this point in time in my life, I just don't give a fuck. And I just stroll through life like that. I take care of what needs to be taken care of.
I would like to get somewhere near there. It's my goal, and it's in not for nothing. Me, when Laura said, "Do you want to go?" and I said, "I think it's best that I go." That was for me a step in that direction.
There you go.
In other news, now I thoroughly enjoyed Rustmas, though. Honestly, I can't wait till next year. Like I had a blast.
Yeah,
like,
it was a great time.
I was really enjoying myself. I felt a lot of love, which I thrive off of. I what else did I do? There's something else I wanted to mention. I watched some movies and shit, but it wasn't what I started reading Secret Empire, where Cap is a Hydra agent.
Right.
That thing is, it's not what I thought it was.
Okay.
And I'm using this as a teachable moment. I'm only a couple books into it, but I'm using this as a teachable moment also to myself, in that don't get caught up. Uh-oh. Read those. All right, yeah, we'll stop.
It's this motherfucker again.
So anyway, we had to take a quick break, but I'm using it as a teachable moment to myself because I got caught up in the clickbait of when that book was being written. Like, you know, everything was written like they're making Captain America Hydra agent and all this, and like it pressed buttons in me that it was meant to, and I fell for it. And I'm going to. And I've already started on this train. I've been doing better with this anyway, but I'm becoming more savvy to that sort of shit. But it's not that. It's like somebody went in and changed reality. Like, it's not like he always was this, and that's how they sold it. You know, like the clickbait element of it. Like, he was always this Hydra agent. But like, no, somebody went in and fucked with reality itself and changed it, and that's what happened. So
Didn't you guys mention last week that they're actually doing a book, agent or Captain Hydra book?
So yes, but that is a new.
Is it unrelated to this?
I'm sure it's related somehow, but it's not Steve Rogers.
Right.
616 Steve Rogers. But anyway, it's fine so far. The only thing I don't like about it is two things. One, it collects multiple different books to try to tell a cohesive story. So I dig that, but as a result, the art styles change, and that is off-putting to me. I kind of like one thing to be thematically the same all the way through, even if it's not my cup of tea. I prefer it to be the same.
But it probably wouldn't bother you if it was all the separate books. It's just that you're looking at it all at the same time. No?
Yeah.
Because this is like a collection versus
Correct.
if you
Do
had
you
read
need
it.
a book?
No.
Okay, because you're like over top of it.
Well, I need to shrink it down.
There's another one. So my other problem with it is Marvel has been doing this a lot recently in their books, where they did it in Civil War II, they did it in Secret Wars, they did it in, there's another one, Spider-Verse, like a lot of their big events, where they drop you in to the drama.
Okay.
Like, I understand that that's the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that their target audience may be of a lower maturity than DC audience, per se. You know what I mean, Chris? In that they're speaking to children, mainly, and that I'm an adult trying to appreciate this children's media. You know what I mean?
I had some thoughts about this whole thing earlier today, actually.
But give me the action. I want it. I want to see cool characters do cool shit. But, like, make me invested in why they're doing this so that I care about what's going on when we get there. You don't need to give me the ice cream right away. Like, I have to eat my vegetables first. That's the rules. You eat your meal, and then you can have dessert. You don't need to give me the dessert and then try to spoon feed a string bean here and there. Give me the string beans. I'll work through it, and then I'll enjoy the dessert. But Marvel's been doing it a lot recently. But yeah, so other than that, I am enjoying it though. And there is one of the artists in particular, and I can't remember his name. McNiven is on it, so McNiven does beautiful stuff. But there's another artist, I can't remember his name at the moment, but I enjoy stuff too. It's very dark and moody, heavy shadows and stuff, like Jay Lee-esque.
Oh, I heard you like that guy.
Yeah, I'm a fan. What else? So I said, movies. So I watched.
Dentist.
Yeah, and then we'll get to the dentist. I watched American Meme, and we've already kind of talked about that. And then afterwards, and this is my other problem with Netflix, is that, like, I scroll through Netflix and every fucking thing I see is chickens kill you, cows kill you, carbs kill you, sugar kills you, ice cream kills you, dairy kills you, cheese kills you, everything kills you except for Brussels sprouts. Just eat as much as you want, Brussels sprouts, as much as you want. And then after this show comes on, they're like, playing next is Jam Master Who Killed Jam Master Jay documentary. And I'm like, well, where was this?
Right.
All those fucking nights that I was scrolling through trying to figure out what to watch. Like, why is this content that I'm highly interested in? Little love for Run DMC while we talk about this. But, like, why is this thing... Now, I've watched, like, the hip-hop documentary series that was on there, and I've watched, like, a number of things that are related to that. So, like, why isn't Netflix's algorithms picking that shit up? Or, I mean, I guess this was their algorithms picking it up and suggesting it to me for the next thing to come on. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, but
Right.
like, where was this shit at? Like, why? I get so frustrated with that. Where it's like, I feel like they want to shove their original material down my throat, and I'm not necessarily interested in the chickens all the time. Like, give me
Right.
the chickens once a year.
But I think I
Yeah.
watch the chickens, and so maybe like the proportionately, like the amount of nutritional stuff that's on there versus hip hop documentaries may be disproportional in that there's just a lot more to choose from there. Do you know what I mean? So that they just like feed you that. Maybe.
Yes, I agree, but like,
Because you watch a wide spectrum of documentaries.
I have vast interests, Laura.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Is like it's not like
Fast.
it's not like you watch all of the documentaries on this or all the documentaries on that. But there's a good chance I've watched a lot of the documentaries on the food industry.
I agree, but I feel like I've been seeing forks over knives on my recommended for over a year. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I watched that one or not.
Gee,
I watched a couple of
Christmas. And then the last thing that I have to talk about is I went to the dentist today.
We all did.
We all
well,
did.
4 of the 5 of us.
4 of the 5 of us.
All 4 of us went somewhere without Leia. It was like probably the only time that's happened in
Wow.
almost 2.5 years.
We went to the movies, right? Star Wars, Episode 8.
Oh, that's true.
Thanks
Well,
to you guys.
Suddenly feels less.
But all of us clean bill of health, no cavities across the board. The person that we use as our
Hygienist.
very lovely lady, gentle with her fucking hook of death.
Yeah, I always thought that dental hygienists were kind of like trap jaw. You know, they have the hook.
Yeah.
the
It's
laser.
also rumored that they eat their young, but this one does not. And so I sit down with her.
Well, hold on.
yeah,
Let
yeah.
me start because I went 1st. And so we're catching up because, you know, we only see each other every 6 months. And I've been going there. So I didn't go to the dentist for 3 or 4 years because the dentist makes me very antsy. And Bobby was like, you just need to go to my childhood dentist. So I think probably when we moved into the townhouse, I started to go there with you. So anyway, I went back to the dentist and I have been going ever since, every 6 months. And so we're catching up. We've known each other for a long time. And after we've caught up, all that to say this, she says, is Bobby in a good mood today? And I started laughing. I was like, I think he's in a fine mood. He was in a really bad mood last time. He was actually kind of grumpy. Don't tell him I said this. Please don't tell him I said this. And I was like, he doesn't care if I tell him you said this. And she was like, no, people don't like to hear that they've been talked about.
But it's not true. I don't know what this woman...
Maybe you would just come from a gift swap. Maybe that's what it was, and you didn't want to tell her about it.
I know this. I know, I don't know what this woman expects for somebody to enter the dentist office, but I'm never going to skip in there and hop up into the seat. You're going to take this fucking hook and shove it between my gums. It's going to be unpleasant for all of us. But I'm here. I personally, not recommended, but not suggested.
Forced?
Asked, a better word for asked.
Requested.
I personally requested you to be my hygienist because I like your style. You know what I mean? Because you're gentle.
Their Western grip.
Dude, no, I went to that one time.
Oh, that one lady.
Is her name Maria?
No.
Okay, because there was somebody calling and was like, I will take anybody but Maria, when we were there. There was somebody on the phone. I could hear them. They were like, schedule me for anybody, but not Maria.
Oh. Maria's the one that, well, actually, the kids, I guess, had the dentist more so, but Maria is the girl dentist assistant.
Oh, she was the one that they were talking about the Keurig?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she had a Maria swag in her accent.
I don't know if that's okay or not.
But yeah, because they were talking about they got a Keurig and they had to split. They're splitting the cost of the Keurig and the K-cups and all this shit amongst
there was
three
a
people.
lot of office drama.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
also
those
she
were
also
$8.
filled me in on some other things, but I was just like, lots of drama this morning.
So like they were like, but everybody's, taking advantage of the Keurig. Not everybody's kind of contributing to the Keurig and all this.
Hang on a sec. What kind of trash dentist doesn't have a fucking coffee pot for his?
yeah. That's fair. But they were saying how they were talking about also to this Maria point. They rinse your mouth out with that water thing, and like the water tasted like somebody had just washed the water, like you just washed a pot. And then you were drinking the water.
It was gross.
Was that this time?
Yeah, and
Today?
I was like, the water tastes funny. And she's like, Laura said the water tastes funny also. And I was like, it does. And she's like, oh, it's this tablet that we use so there's no
and
bacteria.
I don't have like funny water taste. Like I know Kelly's very particular about her water. Like
she would have lost her mind in this place.
I was actually thinking, like, am I drinking like the dirty water that they already
Oh,
rinsed somebody's mouth?
They put the hose in the wrong hole.
Oh, it was like
what she
it
said.
had that much of a taste.
Yeah, and I was like, it tastes funny. And she's like, Laura said the same thing. And I was like, yeah. She's like, but I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't. It is, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I guess she said Maria. I guess that was her name. She said, Maria, have you heard any complaints about the water? Anybody say anything about the water? And I just heard from the other room, yes. So I guess
They got some new system. They put some new pellet.
it's a tablet they drop in. It keeps bacteria out of the tubing, which I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that must be challenging. So, I went in. Like, here's the other thing: is like let me, so to speak, this in advance. My mouth gets tense, so
She's got a pride open.
so like I had my mouth open, so to speak, for her to get in there and do her work, and my lips were like, around my mouth, and she was like, "You got to relax your lips," because she was trying to keep them back, like with one, and she was like, "My hands are starting to tremble."
Her hands were trembling.
Yeah.
I thought when you were telling me this story that yours were. I was like, that's weird.
No, because it was like making her shake with the fucking thing.
She was fighting your lips so hard.
So like we took a break for a second, and she was like, "Am I hurting you?" And I was like, "No, you're not hurting me. I think it's just that dragging that metal spike across my teeth and gums is making my mouth not want you to be in there." Is you know what I mean? Like, I swear, the dentist, man, they act like. And I love my dentist place. Like, they take good care of you. I think they're extremely competent and efficient at what they do, which is why I continue to go. But I think dentist people are fucking strange when it comes to not realizing what they are doing. Like, they are taking this metal hook and they're scraping it around each tooth up into your gums. And like, I forget that.
I don't feel like you always had these problems. I feel like it's only been the last year.
Maybe I'm just getting old and sensitive to it all.
Bobby, have you ever thought about recording like a commercial for the dentist based on what you just said? I mean, I think that's really going to improve the dental health in America.
Well, that's why I'm not saying the name of the dental practice. But if you live in the Maryland area and you need a good dentist, shoot me a email or something, and I'll put you on to them. They're great. But I just think that dental practices in general are it's like they act like ooh, little blood around the gums here. I'm like, yeah, you take the fucking spike and take it away from my gums. I think maybe it won't bleed.
Well, I think in all of our respective industries, you get numb to what you're doing to a point where, a person walking in doesn't know.
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a good point. I think that, like, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like that comedian, I forget his Canadian dude. I forget his name. Doesn't matter. But it matters.
Sick?
It matters to him because I can't plug him, I guess. But he said, you can brush 4 times a day, floss 2 times a day. It's never fucking good enough for those people.
It's never good enough.
Not that I'm doing that, mind you.
I was gonna say
Not that I'm doing that. I actually have been very lackadaisical in my dental hygiene recently because of, like all this shit, like the Halloween party and TFCon and Baltimore Comic Con and Thanksgiving and going away to the beach.
Clearly
and
takes the couple minutes away.
And Tuesday.
It doesn't. Yes, it doesn't take the couple minutes away, but you know what it does? It throws me off routine. And the moment that I'm off routine, everything is fucking up for grabs at that point.
You are a routine motherfucker.
100,000%.
You didn't know that?
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I know.
I thrive in structure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that pretty much concludes my nerd week. I think if I remember something, we'll just get back into
No,
it.
you went grocery shopping yesterday too.
Yeah, that was a fucking disaster.
Like
I was like
to the
to
store
my
to get a
patients,
list.
excuse me, let me respond to my husband. He's at the grocery store.
Were they understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to Wegmans because we're bougie as fuck.
Oh yeah, we know.
And what I like about it, she sent me screenshots of everything on her list. And the nice thing is, like on the list, it shows you the aisle.
The
and
Wegmans app is
it's tremendous.
tremendous.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean it organizes everything. So you just put your stuff in your list and it lays it out in order of the store. And it says aisle 14B. Here's the items you're
Structure.
Correct.
getting. It is awesome
So
because it's a big store.
It
you
is.
know.
Is
It
this?
is.
I've only been in.
We only shop in the biggest of grocery stores.
Is this the one that's like over by the Monocacy Walmart? Is
Yes.
that the okay? That's the only Wegmans I've ever been in. So, and it is a very big store.
So, first thing I go to get is like, oh, I'm gonna knock all this produce shit out. So I need to get bananas. Easy. Sitting right in front of me. Snatch those bananas. Put them in the cart. Good to go. And then it was mushrooms.
There was only like 10 things, less than 10
I think it was 10
maybe,
things. No,
on
I
the
think it was
list?
11 things, but they didn't have one.
Okay.
So then the next thing was mushrooms. So I look over and I see the mushrooms. I go right on over there, and I'm like, what was it? Bella
Sliced baby Bella.
sliced baby Bella mushrooms. I was like, just like it says on the thing. And then I was looking at the price, and I was like, what? This isn't the same price. I'm like, this is organic mushrooms. And I was like, well, I don't want organic mushrooms. So I put those back, and I'm looking around the mushrooms. I don't see anything but organic mushrooms. So this lady was there, and I was like, where are the regular mushrooms? and she was like, they're over there. And they're across the aisle, like in this little
They're on the
dark
other-
corner. It's like if you're not gonna buy the organic shit, like just get in the closet and get your own. Go
are
out
in
back
kind
and
of
pick
in
your
a-
own non-organic mushrooms.
Do you know what the difference is between an organic and a non-organic mushroom?
Other than that, I don't know.
They use dentist water on the organic ones,
The treated water.
right?
So I was like, man.
Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know.
Then I had to get the antiperspirant for Jaina, because she smells like a fucking gym locker room if she doesn't put it on.
Hey, listen, things are bad all over.
Goodness gracious! So
I've
like,
got a 5-year-old that has to wear
Yes,
deodorant.
Jaina was probably about 5
Charlie-
when she started.
Charlie
needing
is
deodorant.
I mean, Mason was too. I mean, I remember Mason was like 5 or 6.
Selena doesn't need it yet.
yeah, I fuck with her about it, which I probably shouldn't because that can build up a thing. But like she'll just like sometimes she often forgets to use it.
And
So like
then
she'll go to
it's like-
school and then she'll come home and she'll be next to me and I'll be like that's worse. Oh, Selena had a pretty funny joke yesterday too. As we were wrapping Laura's birthday gifts. Laura's birthday's tomorrow,
Oh, happy early birthday!
Thank you.
and or to the Nerve Rage listeners, non-Patreon, it was yesterday.
Wait a minute. So you guys have both your birthdays and Christmas in December.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yeah. So I said, we were wrapping up our birthday gifts. One of which I had to pick up at Wegmans, and she told me specifically what to get. My other daughter, my oldest daughter, told me where it was in the store. I still managed to fuck that up somehow. I know I got the wrong one. I know 100% I got the wrong one because the moment Jana saw it, she was like, "Oh,
You got a new kind.
this is a different one. You got a different one. Oh, nice, nice." And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, this is the right one. It says it on the side. It has the same thing like written on the side. You know what it is? I'm a visual person, and I'm not a reader, per se, when it comes to that stuff. So, like, I saw that. I was like, oh, this is it. It's got the words. It's got everything. But the one thing and then you said, don't get this one, get the other one. So I wasn't sure about how the price should sort out. And the one thing I didn't pay attention to, there's one color that is off. And had I just recognized that, I would have known something was rotten in Denmark. But whatever, you can return it or at least try. I don't know where the receipt is. Fuck it. You have an extra one now. So I had to get this antiperspirant. So I
I'm
walk.
just gonna feed you your ground up Brussels sprouts in it.
Yeah. So I walk into this other aisle, and it's like, I'm like, how many fucking antiperspirants are there? Like, and like, what's the difference between deodorant and antiperspirant?
So this is just to tell you how often he ventures out for anything that a human being needs to survive.
Look at all of these products. I'm like, goodness gracious.
I gave him a picture of the exact one.
You know what you need? You need 4. 2 for women and 2 for men. 1 for regular and 1 for heavy duty.
I'm sure there's a country where you can get that. And it's not here, though. It's not here. You're going to get everything under the moon.
So then I had to get these little bars. That was when I actually had to text her about, because I was out of luck. They're Lara bars. Cookies, some shit. So like,
no, they're not cookies.
It was like peanut butter cookie
so
and
I
chocolate
started
chips.
buying. You can buy Lara bars in a million flavors, right? But Leia eats them, and it's a bit much to give her like a full Lara bar, and they're kind of expensive. So I hate to see them wasted. But they started doing these Lara bar minis.
Okay.
And so you get like 10 minis instead of 5 full size in a box. And they only make them in these 2 peanut butter flavors, like in one box. That's the only one you could get.
So this is where the app failed her, because the app said it was in the natural marketplace. So I'm going up and down the aisles of the natural marketplace, and I see Lara bars.
Yeah, just not that particular
But it doesn't
stocks.
look exactly like mine, and the price is different. So I'm like, so I'm at a loss. I texted her, and I was like, look, I can't find these fucking Lara bars. Uh-oh. Let me stop something real quick. So then Laura's like, it's in the cereal aisle. Well, it's not cereal at all, mind you. It's in the cereal aisle. It's not where the app says it's supposed to be. And on top of that, there's Lara bars where I'm at. And on top of that, there's also cereal where I'm at. So I texted her back, and I was like, regular cereal? No, natural market cereal or regular cereal?
Structure.
Yeah, so I found that, and then the wraps were easy. That was the easiest one. I said this because I had Leia with me, and as soon as we found them, I was like, "Oh, look at these! These are right in front of us. Just these are easy, aren't they?" She said, "Yes." But Selena had a good joke. I got lost on that, but we were wrapping her birthday gifts, and I was like, and I also wrapped her Christmas gift while I was at it, and I was like, "Look, do not mention anything about this to your mother." Not a word. Not that we wrapped it. Not the size. Not the shape. Nothing. Nothing. And she was like, don't worry. Everything people tell me, I forget in 3 days. and she put out her 3 fingers.
Like, 3 days.
So that was pretty funny. She's been actually pretty funny recently in general.
Has she changed like her demeanor at all since she's been going to school? I know she went to school before, but like all day school.
You know, I know this sounds off, and she talks to Laura more than she talks to me, but I think she's been generally kinder and sweeter.
Really?
And I know that's backwards. It's certainly backwards from my experience with Jaina in school.
Well, it's picking up bad habits.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. And the way that other parents allow their children.
But see, Selena's taking the bad habits to school and teaching them to the other kids.
Oh,
So
that's the trick.
That's what's
You
happening. With
instill
Jaina, the other kids were teaching them to Jaina. With
Yeah.
Selena, she's teaching them to the other
Gotcha.
kids.
Fair
Yeah, well,
enough.
Jaina said last night, Laura said something like, something mofo. And Jaina was like, what's mofo? And I was like, nothing. And she's like, I'm going to put it in my dictionary book. Because like, she's supposed to write down words she doesn't understand. And I was like,
wow.
wait. Let's not put it there. It's motherfucker. All right. But it's like, she's like, well, it's not F. It should be mofu. And I was like, no, look, I don't know
Just rolls
why.
off the tongue.
Yeah. Good grief. All right. Let's get into news. There's not a whole lot. It's been quiet everywhere recently.
It has been.
Because everybody's busy with everything else.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean,
The year is closing out.
these people want to make money. Though. It's been quiet for a while.
Hmm.
The first one is Sup Westerbros. We got a teaser trailer for the final season of Game of Thrones. Did you watch it by chance?
I have not watched
Yeah, I doubt you've seen
I haven't
it
watched
either.
any Game of Thrones.
There's nothing.
None?
You don't. You really?
At this point, no, I know. At this point,
Okay.
I'm just waiting till it's
Okay,
done, and I'm
okay.
just going to watch it.
Fair enough. So it's
That's the spring.
April. Now that is the one thing I will cheat on her with. Like,
Yeah. Fucking dick.
yeah, I'll watch. I gotta see that when it comes out because if I'm away from her on a Sunday when it comes out, she's fine with missing it. Well, we'll just catch it next time But tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to have to engage with people on social media, and somebody is going to ruin something for me.
So I was like that with The Walking Dead for a long time until I stopped giving a shit.
Right.
I would obsessively watch it, the day it came out. This is at the time we had a DVR, a TiVo or something. So I normally watch stuff the next day, but that I sat there and watched through commercials just because I knew, it was such a hot water cooler topic.
I won't lie to her, right? Like it's a rule that I have, but I don't have to give any information that I don't want to give. So she was like, do you want to watch that Game of Thrones episode tonight? And I'd be like, we can, but we could watch something else or whatever. And then or whatever. And then there was one time recently she was like, have you watched this episode? Like, she got my game. Have you watched this episode of Game of Thrones this week?
Very specifically.
Yes. God damn it, Bonnie. But yeah, I can't fuck around with that one. But anyway, for those listening, there's no teasers. I mean, there's no spoilers to it. It's a map. It's a 3-dimensional map of Westeros, and there's ice forming on the map on one side, and fire burning the map on the other side, and they're meeting in the center.
So exciting.
You know what I always found interesting about the popularity of that show is that it is such a overarching geeky subject that just so many normies have embraced is the best way to say it.
Yeah, you know what it is, man? It's just it's 77 Star Wars. Not to say that it's anywhere near as impactful or anything like that, but just in the sense of if something is good, it doesn't matter the genre, people will respond. And that's what it is. And the hardest thing about that show is understanding the world you're in. But once you understand the world you're in, it's pretty much game on. The only thing about that show that if I was being critical of it, we were listening to another podcast and this guy said he doesn't watch it because it's too mean.
Wow.
And he said actually this season won't be so bad because they already killed everybody you liked anyway.
Fair enough.
But the thing about it is that I haven't connected with any of the characters. And when I mean connected, I mean full blown, this is my guy here, with the exception of one, this female that everybody else hates. I love her, Cersei, for those listening. She's the mom I wish I always had. She is the
which is disturbing.
Yeah, she's the antithesis of my mom.
Okay.
Everything she does.
And who plays this character?
The lady from 300.
Okay.
The wife
from 300. Oh, I watched that recently, by the way. I mentioned that.
That's just good, man.
It's very good. I've forgotten how many. Well, I guess there's so many actors that are in that are actually named actors now.
Yeah, yeah. And I always get in those conversations with people when they drop 300. I'm like, oh, it's one of my favorite comic book movies. And they're like, well, historical event. And I'm like, no. The comic book is loosely based off of the historical event, but that's a fucking comic book movie.
Yeah.
At any rate, she everything that she does is for her children. She does brutal, disgusting shit. I'll be the first one to admit it. But she always has her family legacy in mind. So that is my appreciation of her. Anyway, I like Daenerys. I like her. I like Jon Snow. I like a bunch of these other characters, but I'm not attached at the hip to them. There's no Batman or Solo or.
There's no single hot toy you would buy.
Cersei.
All of them.
Cersei.
All of them.
No, Cersei. I would buy Cersei.
Well, there's 6-scale figures of them.
Yeah,
they're licensed.
They're not great though.
I know.
They're not. They're priced like Hot Toys, but they're not quality Hot Toys.
Which company is it that has that?
I can't remember. I follow them. I think they
3-0 or.
Don't get me lying. I think they're on an upward swing. I think everything they do is getting better and better, but they're just not where I'm willing to spend the money for them yet.
I get it.
So anyway, that came out. It's coming out in April. I'm excited about it. I want Cersei to win. I know she won't. Well, so the predictable thing there is for Jon Snow to win. Would you agree? Or do you disagree? Basically, 3 main characters are left.
Okay.
And when you watch the first season, you'll be like, it'll probably end up with these 3. And there are more, but but certain characters that seem like they're a big deal.
I've been spoiled on a lot of this, but I don't think I'll remember it by the time I watch it.
I'm not going to get
and
into...
There's so many characters and so many names that, like...
I tried to read... So, once they started coming on, somebody suggested I read the book, and they brought me this... You know, it's this thick...
Yeah.
I might have gotten through 50 pages because it's so much of this is the name of this and these people.
Yeah.
But it all seems to flow together.
He
though.
wouldn't watch it. Like, I wanted to watch it, and he was like, "You're going to have to watch it by yourself. I'm not watching it. Too many names." And
Same thing.
And then Adam asked him to watch it.
Which he denies.
And
he denies to this day that he had anything to do with it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he says, I can't be put on to anything. And I was like, you put me on to Game of Thrones.
I was pissed. I mean, I'm glad now we get to watch it, but... It's like, I've been trying.
Yeah, like I watched the first episode. I was like, I don't understand this world. That's why I say, like, as soon as you understand the world and how it all interlocks and stuff, then it's really enjoyable. But understanding the world is a chore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna. I'm fearful that it's going to go the predictable way. But I think that the guy writing it, H.R. Martin, something like that, he says in this interview that I read that when he is writing it, he doesn't know which way it's going to go. He knows that this event is going to happen. Like, he's going to have these 2 characters wage war. And then when he goes to do it, he's like, how would this person react? How would this person react to that? How would it go? And it's like, fuck, he's going to win. She's not going to win this. He's going to win this. And then that's the way he writes it.
So he's playing Dungeons and Dragons and writing it down?
Pretty much.
Fair enough.
You know, so like he's like, I don't know how it's going to end. You know, because I haven't gotten to that point yet. Like, so, but I'm concerned because I think this was written before he had written the last one. I'm not even sure if he's written the last one yet.
So how is this the last season then?
Because they just finished it. They just said this is the way.
He's writing the show now, or
I don't know.
something. But
I don't know. But the HBO people,
he's involved in writing the show, but not.
I know he is involved in some capacity. I don't know what that capacity is. But the people that are, like, executively producing the show are just, like, they've picked it up. I think last season was theirs also. Like, I don't think it was the books.
Oh, it's
like,
kind of gone.
They surpassed the books long.
Kind of like a Walking Dead, kind of just wandered on its own. Gotcha.
I
do know one thing about the Game of Thrones that it's probably new information for a lot of our listeners is Adidas is doing a Game of Thrones collaboration and releasing a shoe based on the colors of each family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that, and I'll definitely be watching that. The next one is... All right, hold on one second. Moving on. 21 Savage and Fatalities. Did anybody... I know Laura probably did not. Did you happen to see the Mortal Kombat 11 trailer?
I don't think I did.
It's... So here's the... I mean, I'm in, obviously, but here's the thing is I don't think that the graphics have surpassed the... You know, like, this one doesn't look like, and it's not, they didn't show any gameplay. They just showed, like, movie story stuff of Scorpion and Raiden fighting. And then Raiden kills Scorpion. And then Mortal Kombat 2 Scorpion comes in to fight. Like, it's a new Scorpion with, like, all the hooks and shit hanging off of him and all the bells and whistles. And then, like, Raiden kills him, and then in comes this Mortal Kombat 2 Scorpion. Like...
Interesting.
Or Mortal Kombat 3, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm in, but I don't think there's anything they could do in a trailer about this game to really wow me. Because I don't think that I don't know how much better it can get. You know, it's just like, cool, more combat.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, cool enough, I suppose. All right, the next one is called Muricraft. I don't know if you saw this at all, but this is pretty interesting. The Danish, I believe, yes, the Danish Geodata Agency recently recreated the entire country of Denmark in Minecraft at a 1:1 scale. It's one of the biggest Minecraft creations ever, made up of about 4,000 billion bricks in 1 terabyte of data.
Wow.
It was ingeniously built using the agency's 3D elevation model and was meant to be used as a teaching tool. Of course, players almost immediately began blowing it up.
Yep.
They weren't supposed to be able to. The Danish Geodata Agency disabled the ability to use dynamite, but neglected to disable the mine cart with dynamite item. According to the Register, players discovered this, set off explosives in several Danish towns, and built American tanks and flags on top of the ruins.
Oh, my goodness.
The Danish Geodata Agency spokesman Chris Hamilton told the Register, "We consider that as a nature of playing Minecraft, elements are broken. We consider that as a nature of playing Minecraft. Elements are broken down and new are being created. Therefore, we will not reboot the demonstration of Denmark in Minecraft, but occasionally we will rebuild minor areas if buildings are removed and nothing new is being created." You can download the Denmark map in sections of the Danish Geodata Agency website. So far, it's been quite popular with over 200,000 downloads. We are very happy to see so many players around the world creating fancy, nice things and having fun.
So my kids play Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mine do not.
And they enjoy it.
Knock on wood.
I mean, Charlie has it.
What do kids play? My kids have not gotten into it. What do they play it on?
So, they have tablets they play it on.
So you just play it on a tablet.
They play it on tablet. I think it's on the Switch.
Is it?
Yeah. I have a funny story about Minecraft. So Kennedy had built this house in there. She was so proud of it. And we let her play a limited amount of like the most strict supervised online interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And she had made friends with this person, who knows, online, and she was excited and told my wife about it, and then the next thing we know is she's screaming upset. What happened? Well, basically this person had become her friend, gotten into her world, and just blown up her house, destroyed it, and then was just like laughing at her in the message. So basically she got catfished and her house got blown up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, Jana wants that for Christmas, right? Like she wants online capabilities for the Switch. And like
It's literally on her Christmas list.
I don't have the time, energy, and effort to monitor it.
So the Switch, I think, is pretty limiting. Kennedy plays on her. Well, she has a computer. She has a laptop, so she may have been playing on her laptop. I think the Switch limits a lot of that. I mean, I know you can like voice, do headset stuff now. They've changed it. But Mason plays. He's 16, but he plays online a lot. Like Super Smash Brothers just came out, and he plays that online. Mario Kart and stuff, and you can limit it. I think if they don't have a headset or something, they can't. They're not going to hear anybody talking.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just like it's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want anybody. Honestly, it comes down to innocence. Like
it does.
There's things that she doesn't know about that I'm not interested in having somebody explain to her via the internet.
You're right. Just being on the internet in general as a child.
Correct. So I don't know.
That is interesting, though. I'll have to tell them about the Denmark.
It's a very, I mean, like it just, and who knows if the people that did this are even American?
Yeah.
They could be making some kind of point.
Sure.
Or
it could be a bunch of 8-year-olds screwing around.
But yeah. Which more than likely is. But it's just like one of those things where it's like, if you broke my balls, right, about like, man, like, we'd love to have the Skull Faces over for dinner one night. But like every time you hear your kids are always farting all over the house, like your kids are just little fart machines. Like they're farting all over, and I'd be like, no, dude, like it's not that bad. Like if they eat something, like if you serve something gassy, they're gonna react to that gas, but they're not that bad. They under normal circumstances they're fine. And then like we come over and you're like Caesar salad, and then they like start farting all over the place. I'm like, fuck. Like we already have a reputation for this. You're making us look worse. That's how I feel about this.
Okay, fair enough. Minecraft's an intriguing thing. It's been around for, probably 10 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it's following this.
Yeah, it has a huge following. I mean, my kids, the majority of what they watch on TV is YouTube of people playing Minecraft. They moved away from the Five Nights at Freddy's bid, which I'm glad. And it's Minecraft and Roblox.
Yeah, I think Minecraft is the most watched video game, experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know I sound like the dinosaur, but I'm why are you going to watch somebody play a game?
I say that all the time.
I say it too.
Why are you watching? Why don't you play?
Yeah, but I at the same time,
they've kind of gotten out of that.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Yeah, there was a time where they were watching people play Mario Odyssey all the time.
I think when Jana was like studying it.
Yeah.
Figure it out yourself.
Yeah,
that's right.
She doesn't want to do that. She wants the easy way out. The next one is the Unicron Unicorn. So they were talking about the next Transformers film. because
The one after Bumblebee?
correct.
Okay.
Because this one is having all sorts of fan and media praise, and they said the guy said they asked if it was going to be a reboot. And this is I mean, and I know people are saying that this Bumblebee movie is a reboot, but this is why I'm skeptical of that. Because they keep saying shit like this, reboot. I always hate that word because, for one, I'm not really sure I understand what it means. I can explain it to them if they.
Right.
We are going to do another big Transformer movie. It is going to be different than the ones we've done before. It's not like we look at the elements of what we did before and go, well, let's not do this or let's not do that. It's more about how do you evolve the experience for the fans, let the fans have a new experience. When we did the first movie, okay, I'm going to be controversial. I'm not a fan of Unicron. It's too big. It's so big, it's beyond any sort of relatable thing, I think. For me personally, that doesn't mean it's not going to be in the series someday. I don't know that. I've thought much about it, honestly, because we've been focused on this movie. I only bring that up because, you know, Transformers 5 does leave off on Unicron. And this is obviously a prequel, or it might be some sort of reboot. I keep hearing people compare it to X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
And X-Men First Class is not a reboot.
No.
It's a soft reboot.
It's
You know, so like I can see it being something like that, but you know, like I said in that fucking Sit Down Saturday, man, like they're all fucking soft reboots when you start digging into them.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, the thing they did with First Class is Days of Future Past kind of tied those two worlds together, and it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn good to get us mentally, okay, this is where we are.
I agree. I really like Days of Future Past, one of my favorite X-Men movies.
And I don't know how they possibly do anything like that with.
Out of all the X-Men movies, including all the Deadpool movies and the Wolverine movies, how many good X-Men movies do you think we've got?
2? X2.
Oh, okay. I was like, man,
No,
you're even hardcore than me.
X2. Are you counting Logan in that basket?
All of them.
Logan. And probably the first Deadpool movie. The second one I probably need to watch a couple more times.
Okay.
No, and see, I like Days of Future Past, and I like First Class. So I guess 5.
Okay. What about you?
I don't know if my memory is good enough to be able to.
You kind of like them all.
Well, I did. I feel like I
Well, I mean,
them all, but I
except
can't.
you haven't seen Deadpool 2 or Logan.
You haven't seen Logan?
No, and I think we own it.
Yeah, we own
So
it. I fucking hate that movie so much. That
Why do you?
Yeah, we
Not
bought
going
it.
there.
Yeah, we bought it for the collection. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it because I think the ending is a complete throwaway. Like, I think it is the ultimate example of creative bankruptcy. Like,
I
we
can see that.
just don't know what to do with him, so have him fight this.
Well, let's do it backwards. We can. X3 goes away.
Correct.
Apocalypse goes away.
Correct.
So there's 2.
Correct.
I mean, the first one, X1, was.
I don't like it.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like it when it came out. I don't like it now.
Okay.
I like X2. I like. Let me say this. I think X2 is a really good X-Men movie. I think Days of Future Past is a really good X-Men movie, and I think that Deadpool is a really good movie.
Okay.
And those are it for me. I think that First Class is. I like it, but I can't put it in that category.
Okay.
I think all the Wolverine movies are trash.
The first one definitely, I think, is.
It's really bad. The first one's really bad. The second one, I fell asleep on and didn't finish it until like 3 months later because I just didn't care.
Yeah. There was a pocket there where it seemed like that kind of shit was coming out, and it was just like, eh.
And I'll say
Either
that
for me,
I think Logan is the best Wolverine movie. I just still don't think it. And like, I have a really big issue with him and Charles going on this adventure. Nothing can stop them. He's finally got everybody to sign on. They're going to do it one last hurrah for the good old days, for the good of this mutant society. But let's stop and hang out with his family for a bit. Why? Well, because
It's a plot device.
because why not?
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
But nowhere near as much as the creative bankruptcy element of it, where it's like, for fuck's sake. And I wasn't expecting people, whenever I voice my opinions about Old Man Logan, people are like, well, it's not going to be the comic book dude. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be the comic book. I understood the limitations of it regarding licensing why it wouldn't be the comic book, but I just think it's not a great story. I think there's potential there for a great story, and I think the tone is perfect. But that's about where it ends for me. Moving on, we got teaser assembled. So the Avengers teaser hit. Do you need to rewatch it?
I mean, I know I really liked it. I can't
All right. So
I watched it 2 or 3 times. I enjoyed.
Let me
it.
say this as a precursor for this discussion. The one thing that we have to be mindful of is that there is a chance, albeit slim, that none of this is going to be in the movie.
What?
Marvel has had, to their credit, let me say this also. I like this about what Marvel's doing. I like it a lot. But they've been recently throwing things in their trailers that aren't in the movie, just so people don't know what the movie is going to be about, or what is going to. They know the general attitude of it, but they don't know exactly what it's going to be, and I like that because I didn't feel disappointed to not see the Hulk in Infinity War, like during that run at the end, I wasn't like, you know what this is missing? It's missing a Hulk. Like I felt fulfilled. Yeah, but in the trailer, he's definitely there. They don't want to give all the information away. So I think there's a chance that like there could be shit in this that we'll never see in any kind of movie. Like,
yeah.
I think more importantly, what they were trying to do here. I mean, even like Tony Stark, like Adam and I were having a conversation about the helmet. Like, is it the same suit? Is the suit removable in that way? Is just the helmet removable? Like, what is the limitations?
Is this a 5-year-old scene? I mean, who knows
Correct.
if this is.
But it seems like he's talking after the event, right?
Of course,
we're led to believe. But it could be. But the point is that it could not be the helmet at all. It could be some device that's going to play into this movie that can transmit information that they're just keeping quiet and digitally putting his helmet over top of it so that he's talking into his helmet and it's not his helmet at all.
Right. I mean, Steve Rogers is very clearly wearing the stealth suit from Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Correct.
And he has the haircut of the time.
Yep.
So one would be led to believe that some sort of time travel element involved.
Well, what I was thinking was when Ant-Man shows up, we don't know when that is.
We don't. Right. We know it's after Civil War.
Do we?
Because he wouldn't know who these people are. Remember? Hey, Cap, it's great to meet you.
No, see, but it might be Ant-Man from the future going back in the past through the time vortex in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah, you're right.
So he could.
I watched Ant-Man 2 again this week.
She still hasn't seen it.
So that.
We own that too?
Yeah. That is actually really good. Well, actually, I watched that before we watched Infinity War. Just because I wanted to mentally be able to check some boxes off.
We should try to watch that tonight.
That's a good movie.
So he could theoretically, like when he's like he's Scott Lang. Oh, Ant-Man. Surely you know who Ant-Man is.
There's an Ant-Man.
It could be that they don't know because it could be before there was an Ant-Man.
Yeah, true. That's
you know what I'm saying?
This is
because in some of that footage, or not footage, but pictures we've seen, Ant-Man is at what seems like the Battle of New York. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like that could be him linking up with the Avengers during that era, and them having no idea who the fuck he is. Like
anything's really possible.
Correct. But I think it did what it was supposed to do. I think it teased. Mm-hmm. It didn't give any action, really. It didn't give anything. It just showed, I think what it tried to do was show mood and tone.
Yeah, and there was vomit on his sweater already from Hella Spaghetti.
Yeah. He but I think that like it's supposed to be somber and sad, and they're licking their wounds. And
yeah,
they got their
it sets
asses
a tone.
kicked, and
it definitely sets a tone.
I think it did what it was supposed to do in that regard.
Yeah.
So like I don't have any complaints with it. I think that some of the chatter online has kind of been like a shrug, which I've shrugged, but I wasn't expecting to jump out of my seat for it. I was expecting something like this.
Have you guys discussed the Toilers that came out with the?
We discussed the Jude Law one.
Well, no, this is
Nick Fury.
No, this is it's basically them all wearing the same thing.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
It's a red, white, and blue Avenger suit on the back of a toy box. That
really,
yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. I did see the Jude Law, which doesn't mean
I don't
mean
even
much.
know that one.
So Jude Law is everybody thought he was going to be Captain Marvel, and he's not. He's some villain. He's some Captain Marvel villain that's well known.
Okay.
That was in a Funko Pop. The most interesting Funko Pop thing that's been a toiler is there's a Nick Fury Funko Pop coming out with that cat from the trailer in handcuffs.
No, it's the Legends figure.
Oh, it's a Legends figure.
Yeah. It's the cat's got
Handcuffs.
So you get the cat with Captain Marvel. One of the Captain. There's like 3 Captain Marvel figures coming out in Legends, and then the Fury's got the handcuffs with the cat.
Do you think the cat takes his eye?
You know, we talked about this on Internet.
Did you really? I haven't listened.
Yeah, but that somebody was saying that. I don't know. You'd think he'd have some claw marks or something there too.
I mean, there's an X, right? Is it X? I don't know. But yeah, I think the Avengers trailer looks good. I'm sure it'll be great. I don't have any fear of that movie being bad.
I don't either.
I don't either, and I'm looking forward to it. I am.
When is that?
April.
I can't remember.
It's 2 days off of whenever it was this past year, so I think it was April. I have a little nervousness about what Marvel's universe looks like after this movie, though. Like,
yeah. I mean, like it's it's going to come down to can these other characters stand on their own, you know, and that's why I'm kind of like I know I'm shooting a long shot, but in my head I'm like, man, maybe they're canceling all this Netflix shit so we can get a Daredevil movie and build another strong cinematic team, because I don't necessarily feel like their B team right now is super strong.
Well, you know, we're getting a TV show for the Scarlet Witch.
Correct. With Vision.
It's Bettany.
On what?
It's Bettany, by the way, is how you say his last name.
On
Disney's new streaming service.
Which is going to have a Star Wars show as well, so we're probably going to have to...
That'd be another $10 a month for the rest of your life.
We're probably going to have to go in on that. We can go in on it at just Star Wars time. That's fine.
And then after that, you know, you've got, I don't know who's going to be alive at the end of this. We're assuming everybody comes back to life?
I'm assuming that everybody comes back to life except maybe Gamora, maybe Loki.
Okay. So yeah, because they died of other...
Yeah, I think that everybody that was gone before the snap is gone. And I think that everybody gone by the snap is coming back. But I think that most of the people that survived the snap are going to go in one way or another.
So you think Stringer Bell's done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think that Cap is going to die. I think that Tony's going to retire. I think that Thor could die. Like, I think that everybody...
So what kills Thor, though? He's a 1,500-year-old god.
Yeah, I don't know. What killed his dad? Like, it's possible. Anything's possible. Like, none of these characters are as strong as their comic book representations. You know? So, like, they could all... None of them are invincible. If they were, there wouldn't be any real drama.
True.
You know? But at the very least, I think, you know, you'll see Thor like, I'm going back to Asgard. I'm going to do Asgardian things for the rest of my life.
There's no Asgard.
New Asgard.
Okay.
You know, bring it back.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
But I think that the core Avengers team, I think their day is done after Infinity War. Or after Endgame.
The West Coast Avengers now.
Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
No, bring in what are they? The Great Lake
Lakes
Avengers. Yeah, they and they're not really an Avengers team. Like, they just say they're Avengers, but they're not really like sanctioned.
I'm waiting on like the Mississippi Delta Avengers.
Yeah, the Great Lakes Avengers are
their headquarters is a riverboat.
Are fun. You know, like I think that's a movie they could get away with in the same Guardians of the Galaxy vibe.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But yeah, I think this movie's gonna be great. I have seen some disappointment with the trailer, but I think it's just because people are hungry for it and they didn't give it to them, and I think it's smart not to give it to them. Make them wait. And we're supposed to get a 9 teaser this month, which is what I'm waiting for. I need that movie to come out because I need to know how I feel about this trilogy, and I can't answer that question until I see this movie.
I think there's a lot of us waiting for that.
And then our last regular news note is 10 years later. Ultimate Alliance 3 Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming. I only left this in there for you. Is there anything you want to talk about regarding it? Because you like Marvel now. You're a big Marvel guy. So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about Marvel at all or any of the marvelous things that Marvel is capable of doing to Marvel the
So I'm not
fans.
familiar with these games at all. I do know that it's a Switch exclusive, and people have feelings about that.
I had the one for Xbox.
Is this a one-on-one fighting game, side-scrolling fighting game? I'm not familiar with it.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's almost like it's like a diet role-playing game. Like, you choose a team, you make the team, and then you go through this level, and you can swap out.
I mean, that sounds like a fucking game you play on your phone. What?
Yeah, it might be a game you could play on your phone now. When the original one came out, the one that I'm thinking of anyway, and I could be off. I could have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm going to watch the trailer a little bit after this ad plays.
Oh.
Actually, we can watch it live.
Man, look at this fancy setup here.
Yeah. So... got a whole bunch of characters. All right, let me just get to the... Oh, I can't. Multiple is a reveal. The game will also be a Nintendo Switch exclusive title. Yeah, this was it. This was that game. Like, you see, like, the red ring was around one of the characters. Because you can control which character you're controlling at the moment. And, yeah. The roster of heroes will include Spider-Man, the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and more.
Well, the one I remember seeing that caught my attention was Juggernaut in the jumpsuit, like from Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing that character.
Yeah.
So, but since you wanted to talk about Marvel, I actually I had this thought. You know, you and I go back and forth about the DC and the Marvel, and I'm just going to say this, and it may just be the dumbest thing in the world. I think DC, in my mind, the reason that for a casual fan, the reason that DC isn't as go-to as Marvel is because they're tent poles. You know, they've got two dudes holding it up, right?
Yes.
Superman.
As far as the general public is concerned,
exactly.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I even thought about myself. Those two characters are such a strong pop culture
icon
presence, yes, that I think the rest of it to me kind of comes off. I don't want to say schlubby, but I don't have any interest in anything past Batman, and really just Batman for me. I appreciate what Superman is. It is from a pop culture standpoint, but then you look at Marvel. So if one person named a Marvel character, do you know for sure what they're going to say? I mean, it more than likely is going to be Spider-Man, right? Would you say?
So I would have said that 10 years ago.
Okay.
Now I think the game has changed.
So Iron Man,
Captain America, Spider-Man's still up there, Wolverine's still up there, but
right.
10
There's
years
so
ago,
many different characters.
Correct, but I think that's because
I'm not going to win this argument. I'm just
Is
making
this
material.
A DC Marvel argument?
Yes, and if it's not an argument, discussion. And Jane, if you want to get a mic, you can. It's down there. Because I'd be curious as asking you, a 10-year-old young lady, what her thought is regarding DC and Marvel. And actually, I'm going to ask that to begin with because I think it'd be interesting just to get her little perspective. Go ahead.
She would love to give it.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk. You got to talk into the mic.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Now try.
Okay.
Okay.
There she is.
So, let me ask you. What do you think? Which franchise do you think is the longest? Has been around the longest? DC or Marvel?
I think DC because you said Superman was the first superhero. Period.
Okay.
She probably is probably not the.
She might have picked some stuff
best
up from
person
here and there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
She's past round one.
No, it's not a matter of pass or fail. It's just a matter of getting your perspective. So, what do you think is the most successful, Marvel or DC?
Probably Marvel because they make so many movies and they're like all these. It's like a long series, and like Justice League. There's Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel. It doesn't go together as well as Marvel does.
You don't think so? Okay, I don't disagree with that. What about which do you prefer? No wrong answer. This is a matter of preference.
Personally, probably Marvel because there are multiple series I can choose from. There's not just the Justice League, the bad guys for the Justice League. There's Avengers. There's X-Men. There's that thing that Wolverine was in before X-Men.
Alpha Flight.
My favorite, by the way.
Now I need you to unplug your mic and go to your room, and I'll talk to you when I get up there. No, I'm kidding. So you prefer Marvel, which I would expect. And who are your top 5 superheroes?
Oh boy, here goes the pressure.
There's no pressure. You can
Across all.
Yeah,
not,
across
doesn't
all.
have to be all
Anything.
DC or all Marvel
Anything.
or anything.
Anything.
Correct.
Well, do I have to put it in order?
No.
Okay. I do like the Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
I do like Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy, what's that face?
No, I'm.
That's good answers. Unique answers.
I like. Oh man, I like Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Black Widow.
Okay.
I didn't know you were a Black Widow fan. So all Marvel.
No.
I said Martian Manhunter.
Martian
Oh,
Manhunter.
sorry.
That's our DC choice.
Okay.
So, like, I think that... Let me say, like, I think that Marvel, as we talk about it now, is a different beast. But I also think that it is a more easily accessible universe. Like, I think it is, and like I use this comparison all the time, so I'm trying to like reword it, but in my head as I'm going to say it, I'm like, you're just saying the same fucking thing in different words. But I think it's an entry level fan thing. Like I think it's like it's palatable. It's there is, for instance,
It's a lighter
100%
universe.
100%, and like the Winter Soldier and Civil War, right?
Those are his 2 favorites.
They're, I think, the 2 best. But Infinity War might be my favorite. I'm working through some stuff on my end. Don't worry about it. But like, I think that you can watch those movies and be like, man, it's a cool movie about Captain America kind of doing what he feels is right, regardless of the rules. He's staying true to his moral compass as opposed to a governmental one. That being an American is more than being an American, quote unquote. But underneath that is this whole thing about brotherhood and what that means, and what this thing that is like, it's commonly lost, I think, especially today, of like the bond that men or women, but in this case men, can have when they go through some shit together that can supersede everything. But in order to get there, you've got to dig. But the stuff that's on the surface is still enjoyable. And that's what I think Marvel does. Whereas with DC, it's like the stuff on the surface, I may not be able to even recognize it because I'm so deep in it that I'm enjoying the shit out of it. You know, and like, even though like Justice League, like I watched it a second time with Laura and then a third time with Adam, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking bad. This is way worse than I thought it was. I think I expected it to be a complete train wreck. I expected it to be a 2 out of 10. And then you can get a stool from the other room if that one, because that chair is broken. But if it works, if it sits in it, it might hold you. Oh, okay. That it I forgot where I was going with that. But I might be too deep into it. That I can't. Oh yeah, Just League. So it was a 2 out of 10. That was what my concern was. So when it ended up being a 5 out of 10, it felt like a 7 out of 10 to me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You know, and then when I went back and watched it with Laura, and then, did you watch Justice League yet?
Yes. Well, not with you, but I watched it with my grandfather when we had the sleepover. It was on live TV, and Grandpa didn't feel like watching our trash shows.
Okay. So
Nice.
that like, and don't get me wrong, like the parts in Justice League, like the whole hot potato chase of the cube with the Amazonians.
Superman going missing.
Definitely the hot potato with the Amazonians, and then also when they do the flashback to when they last fought for the cube. That's the weight of DC that I want in their cinematic universe, but I think they're scared to go hard. And so they try to walk this fine line of appeasing the general audience and also making it seem like the well is deeper than what Marvel has to offer. And I don't know if they can do both, personally. And when I'm watching Justice League and I'm like, holy shit, look at the way the Amazonians are moving, and look at and I'm blown away. The average citizen, so to speak, that's sitting in there is just like, yes, super people doing super shit. I've seen this type of stuff before.
Yeah.
When I see a Green Lantern show up in that flashback, it means it's something different to me. And I think that it's
meaningful.
So I think that it's the baggage that I bring in, and it's the same thing. Like it never is so singularly personified to me as it was with that Martha moment, when like everyone was talking about the Martha moment. Like even before the movie came out, they were like, "There's this moment that's too much, and this, that, and it's corny and it's cheesy." And I went and saw it and like almost teared up at that point because it means so much to those characters. And I understand, like, people to this day, I mean, I had a conversation on Shattercast one time where I was like, I don't understand why you think it's dumb. Like, help me understand. And they were like, well, because like he says Martha, and then just because Batman has his mom named Martha, he thinks he's okay. And it's like, dude, it couldn't be further from what happened. You know, like what happened there was that Batman had forgotten who he was, and the fact that they ended up having the same name, which I've never thought about in all my years of reading comics.
I've never heard anybody mention
Daddy
it.
is that kind of person that when he finds an answer, he wants a more of an answer.
That can be true.
It's always true.
So like I was like, and then that made him remember who he was, who he should be, and step away from this sort of murderous Batman that we had up until that point, which even helps me forgive that. You know, like I don't know. It just, I feel like it's easy to pick on Marvel fans because Marvel fans usually get very sensitive about it.
How can I don't understand how it's easier to pick on Marvel fans?
Because usually they're 15 years old. I'm kidding. No. It's just
you're a Marvel fan.
Exactly. But see, that's my thing. Is that
you are not 15 years old.
Just
No.
acts like it.
But I can go, like, for instance, your disconnect from DC is so big, you're not even going to go see Aquaman.
I'll watch it eventually.
Like,
I'll eat corn on the cob while I watch it.
I don't give, like, I'm just a fan of it all. So, like, I don't give two shits about Ant-Man. But I'm going to see Ant-Man in the theater because
I went and saw Ant-Man in the theater.
But you're locked in there. That's my point, is that, like, Ant-Man to Marvel is nowhere near what Aquaman is to DC. But you won't go see an Aquaman movie. You will go see an Ant-Man movie. So, like, the level of disconnect there is significant, you know? Where, like, you know, I'll joke about the shit, but I'm going to definitely see Ant-Man 3. I'm going to see all of it. And I don't love the Ant-Man movies. I think that they're
a fun romp.
Maybe as good as an Ant-Man movie can be.
Sure.
But I don't know. It just doesn't have with the exception of Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and Civil War, there's nothing that's as satisfying or fulfilling to me from the Marvel Cinematic Universe as when DC gets it right, which is not as consistent as the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
It's sort of how I feel.
So okay. I don't know how to argue against you on that, but you know, back to what I was saying is.
Well, this is a discussion.
Well, exactly. the counterpoint. Once again, I mean, you've got Batman and Superman, and I
and Wonder Woman now. I think
in Wonder Woman now, but I'll say, growing up, I didn't hardcore read either of those comics because I think I knew everything I needed to know about them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You need to know the story. You need to know what they do. You need to know what leads up to the point.
And I felt the same way. But it wasn't until I started reading that I realized how much I didn't know.
Right, and that just looking at it from 10,000 feet.
Right.
And you're right. Marvel is a lot easier to take a bite of.
Right. It's because you can be satisfied on what's on the surface, and I'm not sure you can with DC.
And
with the exception of Batman.
And I'll say, Batman for the most part, yeah, it's in the DC universe, but I think they do, whether they do it on purpose, the majority of the Batman stories have nothing to do with anything outside of Batman and his rogues. I mean, there's crossover events, and he's in a Justice League book, and there's other things, but
it's the same with Aquaman. Because they're both characters that it's all about the home team. It's all about what happens here, and they're not really concerned with what happens outside of there.
I guess.
And I hear people say that, well, Batman feels like a Marvel character, and I'm like, does he? And maybe it's because of it's just how
I think it's because it's grounded and it's gritty.
But do you think Marvel is gritty?
No.
It can be. There's some stuff that's gritty.
Punisher's gritty,
right? Daredevil, the Frank Miller run of Daredevil's gritty.
Yes,
I mean
stuff
like that in that pocket, and that's why I think I don't know.
We're not looking in that pocket.
Hey, relax. But I don't think
a zipper in my pocket. So
I don't think that's a if you look at let's take all this stuff that's in the Marvel Knights realm. Okay,
the realm.
I don't think that is the majority of what Marvel does. I don't think it's the most indicative thing of what Marvel does. I think Marvel does, I think there's tiers to it. There's the large majority of what Marvel does, and then there's the X-Men, which have, historically been a bit edgier, and then there's the Marvel Knight stuff, which is their edgy stuff. And I'm not saying that DC is edgy. I don't think it is, but I do think that it's psychologically heavy. I think that's what sets it apart, and that's why Batman feels like such a part of DC to me, because so much about what that character is about deals with psychology.
But see, to me, Batman almost doesn't... I know I'm arguing with a brick wall here, but
no. I'm enjoying this.
But Batman doesn't seem to fit in the DC universe
because he's not.
But he's the only one.
Because he's not a god.
He's not but he's the only one.
Right. But that's what makes him special to that team, is that he is the man, and that he can beat them all. That's what he offers there. I agree that one of these is not like the others. Mm-hmm. If you look at the pedigree. He's the one that's not like the others. I 100% agree.
I mean, to an extent, Iron Man doesn't necessarily fit in with everybody else. But I take that back, because then you've got regular people like Black Widow, she's been enhanced in some form or fashion, and Hawkeye, the guy with the bow and arrow, right?
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
But I think that I think I can understand that. I can understand how Batman doesn't seem like a part of this world when it is such a different fight that he's fighting in a sense. He's fighting street level criminals for the most part, and I think, and I get that, I understand that, I really do. I think that, to me, what makes him feel like such a part of the fabric of DC is just how it's how much his psyche is weighed on by almost every major event that he goes through, of which he has many, and it's the way that It's almost like he would fit more into Marvel if Superman didn't exist. It's but he's such a part of Superman. He is the fact check on Superman. He's the one that's he's a bumper. If Superman were to ever...
But I think I see what you're saying, but I think it's the other way around, though.
I think it is too. But I think that he is... I agree, but I would break it at a 60-40 or maybe a 65-35. That Batman is more important to Superman than Superman is to Batman.
I mean, I look at it this way. So you've got, you look at the people that Batman is fighting on a regular basis, and you look at the people that Superman is fighting on a regular basis.
Right.
Superman can go to Gotham and be done in 30 seconds. Bruce can go home.
I see what you're saying. You're talking in terms of threat. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with you there. But in terms of keeping them checked, is what I mean.
Right.
Every time.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just making this other point that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. You could make an argument that Superman is the strongest tool in the utility belt.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I think that Batman is. Every time Superman gets close to the edge, where he's you know what, fuck it, Batman is the one that's be careful, because if you say to heck with it, too hard, I'm going to be on the other side of that wall.
Right.
You know, and that way it's more important to the character of Superman, but I see your point that Superman is more important in terms of the toolbox. I definitely agree, because there's shit that he can do that Batman literally cannot.
Sure.
And you know, it comes back to the same thing. Like, you know, Superman could destroy Batman in a second,
right?
But he can't, because he's Superman,
right?
And Batman wins every time because he can't lose, because he's Batman. It's like, it's because of what makes them who they are that makes their strengths and weaknesses. Like, that's the shit I get out of DC that I don't get from Marvel in the same way. But I do like a lot of the heavier Marvel stuff, like the Illuminati talks, like when it's just those brains in the room having a conversation.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I drool over that shit.
It's good stuff.
But it's fun for me to mess with the Marvel DC thing only because I'm a fan of both, and that like I don't get offended or upset when people have a misconstrued idea of what DC is. It's almost like you just haven't seen color TV yet.
Right.
And I know the bright lights are scary, but once you understand that it's not real life stuck in this box, it's just like your black and white television, except it's enhanced. Well, it'll be better. So with that, you can pick any 3 books you'd like to take home. I do have a couple questions from Paul C., and then I have one Star Wars thing that I've been meaning to talk about for weeks.
Can I talk about it too?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, real quick, I'll answer this too, and maybe you can help because you're here. But the good minister hit me up, and he said you don't have to read this on the show if you don't want, et cetera, et cetera. But he was asking about Jame and Plastic Fanatics, and, you know, because they've been, I guess, MIA. And without putting out anybody's personal business that they wouldn't want put out, I just simply said that he's either, you know, somewhere in the family dynamic over there's been some health issues that they've had to take a time out for and sort out, and maybe they plan to come back. I haven't heard from him directly.
That is all information I could share as well, without getting into people's business.
Correct. So yeah, I mean, the best thing to do, I know James is a fairly private person, despite his internet presence or what have you, but the best thing to do, honestly, and I know this sounds shrewd, but is hit him up.
Yeah, just hit him up.
So Paul C. Sent a couple questions, one that we obviously missed apparently, but he says, since you guys are on a show that reaches millions of people each week, and that show is largely based on discussion and debate, I was curious, what kind of discussion do you prefer? Do you like to have a discussion with another expert, or even someone who is more of an expert than you, where you yourself can be challenged, or do you prefer to have a discussion with someone who is more naive on a subject but is open so that you can impart your knowledge? If it is the former, how frequently has someone changed your mind on something? Do you find you're pretty much set in your opinions already? That's a great question.
It is a great question. It would be really interesting if the original cast was on.
Yeah, I think Adam and I have to have that discussion. But
I guess before you say that, what would you consider yourself a subject matter expert on? That's always a good question. Whether it's the hobby stuff or anything else.
You know, honestly, man, like I probably, of all the things that I'm into, I probably know most about music.
Yeah.
And then Star Wars. And then DC. And then Marvel. And then Transformers.
Really? I thought Transformers would be a little more close to the top.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about all the elements of Transformers. And trust me, these guys let me know about all these elements all the time.
There's
Oh,
elements.
yeah, like there's the Insecticons.
No, I mean like Beast Wars and different shows that have come out throughout the years that I just don't know
Well,
anything
if you watch the Korean dub of Master Force
Yeah.
Episode 7,
Yeah,
Season 4, you'd see that his eyes are green.
And a lot of those jokes go over my head, you know, and like I don't know. I know a lot about a little of all of it. You know, like I know a little about a lot. I know a lot about a little.
Master of none.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
What about you?
Oh man, I don't know that I'd claim to be an expert on anything. I mean, it's like probably Air Jordans 1 through 15. I could tell you if that was an original colorway when it came out and that kind of stuff. But like, you know, as far as I could not compare with the knowledge that anybody else could bring to the table on any of this stuff. I just enjoy it for what it is on the surface.
Yeah.
I don't know the dial stuff. I'm not an expert, but I think most things that anybody asks how you do that, I could tell you how to do it.
Right.
Whether I know how to do it myself, I think I've pretty much mastered that.
Yeah.
Do you want the 10-year-old's point of view?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I actually like the person who has the amount of knowledge as me because I think I can call myself a Pokemon expert. I think I can. But in the next few years,
If we're taking expert hats, she'll take
that
Pokemon.
one.
Yes.
Dude, the man himself is calling? So, that being said, as a Pokemon expert, would you prefer to talk to someone that knows as much as you, or someone that knows less than you, or someone that knows more than you regarding Pokemon?
I like having somebody have the same amount of knowledge as me, so we can argue a lot. I like to argue in the fun way.
Yes.
In the fun way, I love to argue because in Pokemon there's so many reasons to argue.
What about you, Boog?
I'm not sure I would consider myself an expert in anything. I think there's a lot of things that I'm very interested in and that I may know more than other people know, but
Food.
I can think of I do love food. I can think of, a lot of people that know a lot more than I do in a lot of subjects that I would, But I think it would depend. I probably enjoy both. I mean, I don't think I necessarily enjoy it one way or the other.
I enjoy both as well. It all depends. I'm going to try to remember to bring this question back up when Adam's on, because him and I actually, unrelated to this question, had a discussion about this on the phone recently.
Really?
And because he wants to talk about a lot of stuff on here, that we don't normally talk about, whether it be politics. And when I say that, I don't mean red versus blue or anything, but just something that's going on politically. And I told him, I was like, well, look, my only hesitation with that is that, like, a lot of times when he wants to talk about that kind of stuff, he wants to talk about it because he's been feeding that beast inside of him with information. So he's been acquiring all this information because he's been interested in the subject. So he's been watching stuff or listening to stuff that's on the subject. So now he's an expert. And then when he starts to talk to me about it, my level of give a fuck isn't high enough to consume that content. So, like, the scale is so imbalanced in terms of how that information is distributed that it ends up becoming more of almost a lecture than it does a discussion. And I don't really have much interest in that, only because I don't care enough. Now,
I don't care.
Exactly. Now, if it was on Martian Manhunter, let's say, and he read all these Martian Manhunter books, he decided to jump balls deep into that character, and he became a subject matter expert, lecture me, because I care enough, So I think, like you say, it depends on the subject. When it comes to this nerd shit, I prefer to talk to someone that knows somewhere around as much as I do, so that we can have a more engaging discussion without bringing people up to a certain speed. But I also enjoy having information given to me by someone who is an expert. And I also enjoy imparting that information onto others. I went to school to be a teacher. It's one of the things I've always wanted to do. It didn't happen.
You would be very good at being a teacher.
And I would have liked, so when I get to teach people about something, whether it be this shit, I enjoy that. You know?
I enjoy teaching, training, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
professionally, or even
yeah, me too.
the stuff we do. But I totally lost my train of thought. I remember what I was going to say. So probably a difference between you and I. Oftentimes you'll be having a conversation with someone about a subject, whether you're an expert or not, you know a lot about, and they'll say something that's just so wrong. Do you correct them, or you just nod along and roll with the punches?
So it depends. It depends, and I usually do it with tact, because I know I know how obnoxious it is to be corrected, because I'm corrected so much during 1 week.
Actually,
Correct. I've told her what does actually mean.
Slap in the face.
Whenever you say actually, I feel like I want to slap you in the face.
Yeah, Daddy will like pretend to do it.
Yeah. So just recently, I had a conversation with a guy. This guy Frank, good enough dude, and seems to be anyway. And we were talking. He was bringing me up on some information that I'm going to be doing a video about soon. So I don't want to give too much of it away. But he's not super. He's very knowledgeable in some things, and he's just getting into the third party stuff. And he was like, "Well, it's kind of like this DNA toys hot rod that turns into a lion." And I know that that's DX9, all right. But I know also that he's new, and I don't want to be the guy that's like, "Oh, stop."
Actually,
Yeah. So I was like, "Is that DNA?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I think it's DX9, but I'm not sure. But I am sure. But like, it's a soft sale, you know, because like I want to bring you up to snuff in a way that makes you feel like I'm not talking down to you, because I don't want to talk down to you.
The other thing I do in that situation is well, you know, he said DNA, to, you know, bring it up later in the conversation. You know, I really think DX9's taking a chance with that.
I did it.
Okay.
And then he also said, or maybe it's Perfect Effect, and I was like, no, that I know it's not.
That's different.
But you know, just to say like, you know, but like just and only because I don't know him well enough,
sure,
to put a heart, like, because I don't want him to feel uncomfortable talking to me, like, because we don't know each other well enough to start getting. So I think it's all, once again, it's case by case dependent with that stuff. I will say that I think I have more patience for shit, because I do, if I can't see you in your eyes when you said something, I am willing to give you a lot of benefit of the doubt. Now, when I see you, like when I see somebody in their eyes and talk to them, I give them barely any slack, because I feel like it is something that I'm good at. Like, if I am good at reading people, reading situations, I always have been. So if I catch a vibe in person, I'm always going to trust that. I can set my watch to it. It's been wrong once or twice, but normally I can trust it. However, with like internet talk and that kind of shit, like I'm like, because it happens to me all the time where somebody will post something and I'll be like, I don't think, like somebody just said recently, like when I put up the display videos, they were like, God, I can't wait to get a whole bunch of DTOFs. And I was like, I would watch this video first, and then they responded like, no, dude, I'm joking. I've listened to Shadowcast or Nerd Rage where you've talked about, you know, but I didn't necessarily know that from reading his, because you can't pick up nuance, you can't pick up tone, you can't pick up sarcasm, all that shit is lost. So, I'm hesitant. I'm more hesitant and more lenient when it comes to internet talk or new conversations.
Yeah.
And then lastly, he asked, the new trailer for Avengers got me thinking. The MCU was undoubtedly a success, so much so that studios everywhere want to cash in on the template. Do you think that a shared cinematic universe is as good as an idea as they all do? The DCEU tried, Universal Monsters, et cetera, Godzilla, King Kong. Do you like? It's a question, and I'm just paraphrasing because we're running out of time. But it's a question that I have asked about. Like, does a shared universe need to exist for all this shit? And I don't think it does. However, I don't think that that's what caused these other things to fail. I don't think that it's inherently because DC was trying to do a shared universe that it failed, or that the Universal Monsters were doing it, or King Kong Godzilla, which may still be successful. It's too soon to tell, but I don't think it's because it's shared.
New Godzilla trailer came out.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
Is King Kong in it?
I didn't see King Kong.
Because they're supposed to square off.
A lot of other
friends,
titans in there.
But like, I think that DC went too hard too fast, and they should have slow burned. And if they really, like, I know they wanted to follow the Marvel template because the Marvel template is proven to win, but they didn't follow it properly, because I think they forgot that Iron Man and Captain America today aren't who Iron Man and Captain America were 10 years ago. Now, I think that there's rumors now that DC is going to do a Plastic Man movie. And like,
Plastic Man?
He's a DC character. He's very goofy. But I think that is probably how they should have started their cinematic universe, with characters like that.
Yeah, I think something's to be said to start from the back and work your way to the front.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they could churn out a Batman movie like like Disney's churning out Star Wars, and I think they'd be successful.
Yeah,
even if they were just one shots.
I think Batman speaks to something primitive in us. I think that's why that character works. But yeah, I don't think that shared universes is the problem. I think it's the approach to the shared universe. I think it's the idea that these studios think that because it's a shared universe, it's going to be successful, and that's not fucking true.
Yeah.
One Star Wars note before we get out of here. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because for vindication. So when Nerd Rage was talking about Force Awakens, way before Force Awakens came out, I had heard from MakingStarWars.net that there was this guy, and I forget his name at the time, who was seen in Bespin gear as Luke Skywalker, and that maybe lent credence to the idea that they were going to start off with Luke's hand getting chopped off, and you were going to kind of follow the story of Force Awakens. Force Awakens was supposed to be about that lightsaber, and you just follow that lightsaber throughout his journey. And then it came out, and it didn't happen, and I got plenty of PMs telling me how wrong I was. Which wasn't, I mean, to be fair, not that I'm trying to pass the buck. I'll take the charges. It's good. I don't want to plea. But it wasn't my news. It was news from a place that I trust, and I just shared the news. Well, they came back, because I guess I would guess that they caught way more flack for it than I did. And the gentleman's name is Robert Bolter, or Bolter, doesn't matter. But this image just surfaced a couple weeks ago. And this is of him in the Bespin gear as Luke Skywalker, that I would bet green money was during the filming process for Force Awakens, which is how the news and rumors started, and that it just got cut when they decided to take it a new direction.
That looks like a shitty cosplay to me.
Yeah, but it's not. Like, because this is the exact name of the guy that they were talking about during that time. So that would lead me to believe either one of two things. Either A, he is doing, like, the rumor started out of nowhere, and they thought it was a good idea now and are now doing something to include in 9. B, that it's just finally surfacing, and this was where the rumor started because there was legitimacy to it that they were doing in 7. Or perhaps C, a little bit of B, and then they're doing it for 9 also. You know, is a possibility. It's some sort of flashback or something. I hope he doesn't have any speaking lines or anything like that, if that is the case. Like, just shoot him from the back and, you know, stuff like that to kind of make it work. But I'm just doing that for all this PMs of people that probably don't listen to the show anymore. But God damn it.
You know, the fact that they didn't cast, is it Sebastian Stan? Shaw, the Bucky, as Luke. Oh my gosh. It's like
he
his
works.
son.
He works. But, my general thought is get the fuck out of that era.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I am good. I am good from the Rogue One point to the Return of the Jedi point.
So you don't want to see any more stories in that pocket?
I don't. It's not a matter of one.
Talking about pockets a lot today.
It's a matter of need.
Okay.
So I don't need anything else in that era. I am satisfied. I have all the stories that I need. I'll take whatever they give me because I'm that level of fan.
Sure.
But if I want stories from Star Wars, I want it between 3 and 4, closer on the 3 end. I want it between 6 and 7, closer on the 6 end or 7 end. Or I want it before 1 or after 9. Or somewhere way the fuck over there that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm the original trilogy story, I don't need any more embellishment on. I'm good.
Fair enough.
Chris, thank you for joining us. Do you want to give a shout out where they can find you? Or
Yeah, so Monday nights, Enter the Realm on the Realm Collectors YouTube, and then audio is available wherever you're listening to this. You can find it as well. And Crashbox Customs on your social media. I build things.
Aren't you also doing the irregular collectors?
That's right, but we don't really talk about that.
First rule of irregular collectors is you don't talk about irregular collectors.
Yes, I'm on another podcast with Bobby and Joe called The Irregular Collectors that comes out whenever we get it.
And we have 3 in the can.
We do.
We have 3 in the can, and we have a 4th.
We have 2 in the can and
2 in a possible, like a bad hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we have a 3rd one that we'd like to get done before the holidays that I think I can make time for next week.
Nice.
And Jana, do you want to say anything in closing?
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.
Laura, do you have anything?
I'm good.
And I've talked on this show many times about my parenting style, and there's some things that I care about, and there's some things I don't care about. For instance, what is my policy on cursing, Jana?
Just don't say it at school. Don't say it here. You can say it in your mind. When we go in Daddy's car, we can say whatever.
Correct. When it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
But why can't I have you saying it? Do you remember?
Because if I start saying it, people will start being like, and then they'll call you, which wastes your time, which is not good.
Correct.
Fair enough.
But for those that do listen, they know that I am sensitive about other things, so we're going to forego our normal closing today.
Thank God. I was really dreading that.
And I'm just going to say shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team, both of the Phils, that of the Black and Maryland variety that I happened to see at Rusmus, along with...
Gifts or not.
Yeah, along with Dante, who I saw there as well. And Raul, who couldn't make it, unfortunately, but thank you for the books, man. Just please don't feel obligated to do that kind of stuff, but it is definitely appreciated. I can't wait to read them. And Magic Manny for all of his technical support. And, of course, Joe KW and Adam Russman himself, who couldn't be here today due to other things. And with that, we'll catch you next week. Later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.